accordance with the South Carolina Freedom of Information Act, Section 30-4-80E, South Carolina Code 1987 is amended. All the immediate area have been notified of the date, time, location, and agenda of the meeting. We'll now stand for the pledge and the prayer by Ms. Gore, and then we'll have the pledge.
Let's all bow, please. We thank you, oh God, for this day. We thank you, Lord, that all of us have come back after the holidays, Lord, and we're healthy, we're ready to go to work. We thank you for all that we've gone through in 2023, and you have brought us here again because you have given us expectations, and we're ready to go to work, and we're ready to do what we need to do. Thank you for our leadership. Thank you for Dr. Newman. Thank you for Madam Chair. And we thank you for all of you who are a part of the Darlington County School District. And we ask that we be blessed this year, and that we be the school district of South Carolina, that we will be the example, because we have your covering over us, God. And we thank you right now for all you've done for us and the students and the teachers and the principals. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we get a motion to approve the agenda? Second. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? The ayes have it. Citizens' comments. We have one? Okay. Let me read this really quickly. The first 30 minutes of the monthly meeting will be set aside for 3-minute input sessions for citizen participation. Participation will be approved on a first-come, first-talk basis as recorded on a log which is provided. Public input should be in the form of suggestions, information, or comments pertaining to programs, schools, or the school district. Based on legal advice of our council, comments should not be made either complimentary or critical, naming any student, school employee, administrator, or board member, as these matters are personnel matters that require an executive session. Speakers' comments will be received as board information only. And it looks like we have Mr. Don Atkinson. Did I read that correctly?
I apologize. I did not know how this worked. If I'd have known it was going to be this many people, I probably wouldn't have come. If you would allow them to boo, I'd be booed out in about 30 seconds. So what I wanted to talk about was 3 different subjects. I would have loved to talk for 2 or 3 hours, but I realized it wouldn't last that long. So I was thinking I would get to speak for like 15 minutes, but I wanted to talk about, I wanted to take you back, because I promise you nobody in this room is as old as I am. That's a fact. So I wanted to take you back when I went to school to set the stage for this, but the 3 minutes will be gone in just a minute. So I wanted to talk about in the 12 years I went to school, not one student was killed. I never remember a gun being on our school campus. Doyle Boggs was our principal, and you might not love him, but you better fear him. Because back then, if you didn't, he'd bend you over that, and when he got through, you would fear him. So I realize we can't do that in school now because it's cruel and unusual. But there's so many things at our school. I admired the ladies, the dozens and dozens and dozens of ladies that have already gotten, I don't know, I think it's 14 states so far that they've gotten the law changed where parents now have as much right as the school does, and the subjects that their 6, 7, 8, and 9-year-old kids have to listen to. So if they don't want in those states, so kids listening to those kind of things, then they don't get to hear them. So since I can't talk about the dress code and about self-mutilation and all of that, I'm gonna just do it the one that I know works. And that is cell phones. Yes, I have a cell phone and my wife does too. But I don't know how many, I wish I'd have wrote some of this down. How many states have banned cell phones during school hours? Some of the states lets the students bring the cell phones to the school and put them in their lockers and use them on their like break or lunch or something. But other than that, they cannot use them. The result of that in every state, unless the paper's a liar, is that the grades in every one of those states have went up. Every state, the grades have went up. So I know I won't be popular with kids. And I might not be popular with some of the school board. But it is, I think it's time that we take a look at those things. My kids, which went to school here in Darlington, my grandkids, went to middle school and went to Mayo Magnet, and now Francis in his last year at Clemson, and my granddaughter, which is one year and 1 day younger, is in her junior year at Coastal. So they're familiar with Darlington school system. But I think it's just like my kids until I said, no, y'all are not gonna do that at Papa's table. Sit on one side of the table this far apart and text each other while we're eating. Put those phones on that table and y'all can text each other somewhere else. You need to learn more about how to talk when you're 5 feet apart. So I am concerned about so many items with school. I'm concerned when I see a kid kill another kid on our campus. I'm concerned when one of my wife's clients, who she has a small salon, and we're from Hartsville. He was 14 years old in Chirral, and she had went to school. This has been about 7 or 8 years ago. She went to Chirral High School 3 times about him being bullied. He was very small to be 14 years old. After the last time he went, he was bullied. A couple of days later, they came home. He was on his knees and he had made a knot and leaned forward and he choked himself to death. We don't need bullying. We don't need to tolerate it, and we need to come down on it like a ton of bricks. Not.
Mr. Atkinson, I'm not to interrupt you here, but I'm going to get you to wrap up because you kind of exceeded the 3 minutes. So.
That's it. I wrapped it up. It wasn't long enough. I needed longer, but thank you.
Thank you for your input. All right, we'll move on to our PD Conference Volleyball Champions. I guess Mr. Smith is going, Mr. Stewart's going to lead us through that.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Eddie Schuler. I'm the Executive Director for Administration and Operations. I have the privilege and honor this evening to recognize our 2023 PD Conference Volleyball Champions. The Hartsville Middle School volleyball team went on this season to be undefeated. They had a perfect season of 12-0. Tonight we want to recognize these ladies, coaches, principal, and AD. So as I call your name, we ask that you come up front. We're going to take one group picture. We ask that you hold your applause until the very end. The team consists of Stella Beasley, if you're here, come on up. Jayla Gibson, Zoe Gray, Chloe Hamilton, Shamaje Millette, Jasenia Middens, Paisley Moore, Hannah Nezet, Sarah Nezet, Audrey Perry, Elizabeth Privet, Zoe Sheely, Aaliyah Smith, and Kendall Watford. We ask that our coach come forward. Our head coach was Christine Bird, and assistant coach is Logan Smith. They're represented by the principal, Dr. Katrina James, and athletic director, Andy Hamilton.
We might need to switch places with
And we'll congratulate them there, and then we'll come back in.
If we could give these ladies a big round of applause. Congratulations.
We'll just have y'all come through, take your picture, and then before you leave, we'll make sure you get your certificate, okay? Congratulations. Well done.
We're gonna need to make 2 rows. Your phone, your telephone.
How are you? Good to see you. Yeah.
George,
How are you? How are you, sir? Yep.
Good, how are you? Ladies, this guy, yes, ma'am. And here's the long hair right back there. So you said chestnut too?
Perfect.
And then
Miss James, can you come to the side, please?
Yeah, y'all, we need to hold one right
Here, we give them back. No, no, I got everybody. I took them from them because I didn't want them to look odd. They didn't have one. Go in. You're so bad. Yeah, well.
Yeah, go this way. All right, we're gonna play paparazzi here. Everybody look at your crowd, then look at me. Ready? Thank you. All right.
okay, we do that.
They want to stay for the.
You could tell them.
Guys, if we'll pause a minute if y'all want to leave now, or you're welcome to stay, whichever.
It's okay.
It's okay. We're good.
That's my
Y'all have all that studying that you're gonna do.
Zoe.
So. And all. Yes, sir.
So, I don't want to beat them over, but it's a little bit different. right, we'll move on with the service awards. Dr. Newman, you want to
Okay.
handle that one?
So Chair Hassler, members of the board, and less members of our audience. This is in recognition for Mrs. Wanda Hassler and 10 years of service to the Darlington County School District. And so I have a letter here. Mrs. Hassler, congratulations on achieving 10 years of school board service to the Darlington County School District. On behalf of the officers and staff of the South Carolina School Boards Association, thank you. You have played a critical role in guiding your district and have invested countless hours to improve public education. South Carolina School Boards Association is happy to be a part of this recognition by providing a lapel pin for you to wear at school board and South Carolina School Board Association events and a certificate. Your name and years of service will also appear in the annual convention program. Again, congratulations, and we appreciate your service to the Darlington County School Board. So, get your pen.
Alright. And this month is the 2024 School Board Recognition Month. As part of the 2024 School Board Recognition Month, the South Carolina School Board Association has provided a poster of the ethical principles to all school districts. South Carolina School Board Association requests the school district share the principles with the board and have the board members sign the poster for display. And we will do that, and I think we will hold off until our work session when all of our members are here, since we're out with those for a hot second. All right, our consent items. We have our regular meeting minutes. Can I get a motion to approve said minutes?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? All right, our next Board of Education work session will be January the 22nd at 6 o'clock in the training room at the Darlington County School Board Administrative Building. Our next regular board meeting will be February the 12th at 6 p.m. Here in the Administrative Building, also here in our training room. Reports and administrative appreciation. We have our strategic plan focus areas. Dr. Newman, I'll turn that back over to you.
Chair Hassler, members of the board, and members of our audience. Again, monthly we're talking about our strategic plan goal areas and examples of our schools. In student success, this is for the month of December, we had DCIT. The students attended Florence Darlington Tech's Tech Day events, and they're also promoting career awareness by providing students with opportunities to attend a variety of field trips and visit manufacturing facilities in the area. Darlington High School is celebrating a over 20% decrease in referrals from first semester this year compared to the year before, as well as a 30% decrease in fight referrals. Hartsville High School students put on a successful band, choral, and dance concert. The girls' basketball team won the holiday tournament. Congratulations. And the boys' basketball won the Great Falls Holiday Tournament. J.L. Kane recognized the Brag Tag students and MAP Growth students for the month of December. Mayo's Phoenix Forge participated in and hosted the first PD Tech Challenge robotics scrimmage of the season. And this was back in late November. We also had Pate Elementary School that they did a MAP prep rally and music and surprised visitors each morning at the car line and bus lines to motivate students to do their best in MAP testing. They also had a Christmas performance by 4K and 5K students for families and the staff. Rosenwald students attended a glow party. If they met their winter MAP goals or moved 20 RIT points, they were able to be part of this celebration dance. And then Spalding Middle School also had a MAP Growth Reward Day. And their Ascend students, their 8th grade Ascend students, attended and visited Sunoco products for a tour. As far as staff excellence, we had faculty and staff members from Brockington Elementary School participate in a holiday sock exchange where they filled it with goodies and exchanged with each other. A lot of Christmas celebrations. DCIS actually celebrated 52 students returning to their home school this semester. Hartsville High School also was one of 100 schools in South Carolina selected for a free trip to the South Carolina Aquarium. The science teachers also were able to participate in a PD session. Their wrestling coach, Michael Lynch, earned his 300th win as a wrestling coach. And also they had a coach, Carlisle Kuntz, who served on the South Carolina Shrine Bowl staff. Lamar High School recognized the faculty members for the character word of the week, which was caring, patriotism, and moderation. Lamar Spalding, everyone enjoyed the Lamar Spalding Elementary's December Remember, which each day was a different theme. I happened to be there on Santa Claus Day, and everybody was dressed as Santa and had shirts. It was a lot of fun. And the last on staff excellence was Southside. That they had a food truck duty-free lunch for all of the teachers in December, again, to help give them some extra time and appreciation. Community engagement, we had Bay Road Elementary with their Good News. They have over 80 students in their Good News Club, which is a voluntary club after school. But they had a big party that celebrated the birth of Jesus after school. So Carolina Elementary had their honor choir travel to the Legacy of Hartsville and the Retreat at Carolina Bay to sing Christmas carols. The Virtual Academy participation for faculty, scholars, and families in the Darlington and Hartsville Christmas parades. Darlington Middle School provided breakfast for the soup kitchen in December. Hartsville Middle School, the Student Government Association attended the Hartsville City Council meeting and provided cards and toiletries to the retreat at Carolina Bay. And St. John's Elementary supported the City Fire Department toy drive. Firemen brought trucks and packaged toys along with the Beta students and staff, as well as they had recipients of beautiful books donated by Mayo High School. And the Honor Society, the Mayo students and staff delivered the books to the school and their students. And that, resources, we had adult education staff recently attended the fall conference for adult ed. And that, North Hartsville, the Hour of Code was a dancing good time with her favorite instructional technology coach, Mrs. Laney Rogers. She was mentioned in several of the things where the Hour of Code going across the district. And that is the strategic plan updates for the month of December in our buildings.
All right, thank you very much. And that leads us to our budget report. Anybody have any questions? But we'll combine B and C, the budget report and the federal funds report. Anybody have any questions or comments? Dr. Newman, we're back to you for a construction update.
All right. Well, this is an opportunity just to talk a little bit about where we are with progress on some of the various projects that are going on across the district. Of course, we have our capital projects list that is constantly updated, and that we are, as we complete items, we are showing those on the list, but also anything that may be added. So I know the board has copies of those. But primarily, just to talk a little bit about where we are, of course, the new Darlington area elementary school. They are, the architects are finalizing the drawings to be able to put out for bid. There actually was a pre-construction for the site package. That meeting took place this past week, and they hope to have the bids by the first week of February for, again, the site package. And typically that site package is about 4 months of the beginning of the process of building the building. And so we're looking forward to having the GMP for that. The pre-construction meeting was well attended. And again, we should have those bids in by the end of this month, first week of February. Also, we should have the bids and the GMP for the full project by March 1st. And so those drawings, again, are being finalized by the architects. And they will put those out to the subcontractors in February to have by the first week of March. Our GMP for the total project. A couple of notes. The square footage for the building increased about 12,000 square feet, primarily because of the special education self-contained classes that are in St. John's currently. That, we were going off of the Kane design and the Kane plans. The big difference between the schools is the self-contained programs that we have at St. John's, especially preschool, for example. We have several preschool 4K classes, but also other self-contained classes there. Also, y'all remember the first set of plans that you saw had a roundabout that was situated in the middle of the property, and DOT has said they have to have 2 entrances to the property, so they won't be doing the large roundabout that you all saw originally. So there'll be 2 entrances, one for cars and one for buses.
Still both off that same road?
Still off of Leavenworth, yeah. Still off of Leavenworth. And yes, in the current plans, they are showing playgrounds that are incorporated that will be part of that bid.
With equipment.
With equipment.
Okay.
So the plans really have not changed much at all since you've seen the plans. Those extra special ed classrooms, they were in the plans that you all saw the last time Jumper Carter Cease was with us. So there really is not any significant changes. It's mainly the civil engineers that are working on finalizing a lot of their information, so we can go ahead and get the the subcontractor bids rolling on that.
So the site work would be set to begin when?
So hopefully the 1st of February. As soon as we
Okay.
accept the GMP, they can start digging dirt.
Okay.
And that's the intent, is that
Do we have a date for groundbreaking?
as soon as we solidify the GMP for the site package, then we'll actually have that date to have the groundbreaking.
And just as a reminder for those that are watching, we are still looking at the year for opening.
2025, yes. So
2025.
fall of 2025, we're still planning on opening first day of school and actually being in it a couple months early. So we are still on schedule to be able to move in the late summer, or excuse me, early summer, to be ready for the end of July opening in 2025. So
And so on your price, just, no, we don't have a price, but the estimates that we're giving to the architects, that did include the 12,000 additional feet.
it did.
So, I mean, that could be
Yep.
$2-3 million
Yep.
difference.
Yeah, it did. So, and if you remember, we've kind of gotten, as we've gone along, they've kind of given us some potential pricing, square footage primarily.
That's all I'm basing it on, is if that's additional, then that's a
Yep.
whole different.
Yep, exactly. So, we really won't know the exact pricing. I think one of the outliers for us right now is, for example, the site package. So in all the pricing that the architects have had with the board and with the district, they've not talked about the site package. It's primarily been square footage of the building, right? How much per square foot, here's how much we think it will cost to build the building. And so that is one that we've not had any placeholder for, because there isn't a placeholder for it until you actually do
They
it.
added into that square footage an estimate for site when he said, yeah.
Might want to check, yep. I thought the higher number, the last time they gave, I think,
I thought he threw in a X dollar per foot was for site estimates,
yeah,
when he gave the total figure.
yeah. So when we were talking about that, and again, we'll know a lot more in the next couple weeks about the site. They did refer to some sites that they've done recently, and some of the pricing that's come in. So I believe we'll be in good shape with that.
And again,
but-
we work with details later, but I can
Yeah.
go back and find you the notes where he threw that figure in for the site package, an estimate like
Yeah.
everything else is,
Yeah.
but.
And we had that conversation too. And actually, once we get a GMP for the site, I want them to come back and kind of go over everything again with the board. So we are all, kind of in the loop on what that's looking like.
Kind of to Jamie's point, with the additional special ed classes, is there gonna be an added cost for accommodation?
Well, I mean, it's extra classroom space, so,
But the
Yeah,
square
but-
footage hasn't changed, he's saying, from what they had given us, and then the estimated square footage, cost per square foot.
Right.
So that shouldn't
I'm-
change.
yeah.
that's right,
But nothing's concrete,
Right.
really.
that's right.
Just what the,
I understand what you're saying, Jimmy, but at the same time, with special ed classes, sometimes there has to be accommodations.
Are you talking about like outfitting the classroom? For outfitting the
And
classroom, what are you
bathrooms,
talking, what
structure,
are you
so
talking about?
forth.
Yeah, so basically you design those the same way that you would design a 5K classroom, because they're for younger, right,
Yeah.
4K, 5K students, which a lot of the special, we house at St. John's several of the programs that are fed from other parts of the district to St. John's. And so, yeah, bathroom, square footage is the same as a kindergarten classroom. So yeah, that's the items that are in there. But you could have, for example, changing stations and things like that as well. Yeah. But again, I think what I was speaking with the architects with, not a lot has changed on the building plans at this point in time. But I think once they're ready to get a price for that GMP is when I would like to make sure they come back and have a presentation for the board on where we are
So
at that
for the
point.
public and possibly for me too,
Mm.
what does GMP stand for?
Guaranteed maximum price.
GMP,
Yeah,
okay,
Yep.
guaranteed maximum price.
yep. And so that's with the CM at risk process that we're doing. It's a little different than the way we bid some projects in the past where we did a hard bid and the price was the lowest bid out of those folks. With the GMP, with the guaranteed maximum price, it's working with the contractor that we currently have. The next item is the Blue Street plans. And again, met with the civil engineers on some of that information last week. And they should have those plans finalized within the next 30 days, based off the plans that the board saw last time as well, that they are addressing additional parking. I think that was a conversation that we all had, was additional parking. And then also they're putting an alternate in for, it's the current practice area for football, but what if that became a turf soccer? So we're asking for an alternate pricing on that just to have that. But that space right now is designated just to be grass. But we're going to see when they do all the turf, that's on my list too, we'll get them to give us a price for something like that so we have that in the future. If that's something that the city wants to look at with us as well. But again, that is coming together. Again, looked at fencing, locked down the fencing piece that was with that, locked down the parking spaces. There's lots of grass parking as well that we're working on for that. The next item on my list is the Brunson-Dargan demolition, and our guaranteed maximum price actually came in about $200,000 less than what we had budgeted for that project. And the company that we will be working with is Target Construction. The project manager actually lives in Hartsville. So it's somebody local that's going to be handling the project management for that. So we were glad to see the pricing from that come in less than what we had expected. The next item is the Southside and Carolina portables that we're working on. And this is one where the guaranteed maximum price was actually above what we had planned on for the whole project. And it's for the installation for each one of those portables, and so for plumbing, alarms, electrical, etc. So that's come in a little bit higher over budget than we expected. But again,
Back to the Brunson-Dargan real quick before you
Yep.
go on to the next. When's that scheduled to, when are we gonna start that?
so I have the contract sitting on my desk. As soon as I sign that, they'll be able to start that process.
And how long do we think that'll take?
2 to 3 months. If we refer back to what Lamar Elementary, when we did that project, it was about 3 months. So
So does it include any site work to I mean, do we have an expectation for what will be left when it's done?
So there
Or
will,
will there still be, I guess, work that needs to be done to
Yeah.
that site to make it attractive?
there will be. And
Okay.
so, for example, like the concrete pad
Right.
and the sidewalks, that'll remain, so because they won't actually be demoing the concrete part of the base.
Really?
Yeah.
For that
Yeah.
price?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just the demolition of
Yeah.
the building?
Yep. Yep.
Do we get an alternate to see?
Um,
And what's the,
we can definitely check with them on that, but yeah, that's, talking with EdCon about that. And again, everything's being destroyed or demoed in the building itself, but they just said that there may be concrete sidewalks potentially or something like
I'm
that
just
that's
saying,
outside.
you got your slab that the building sits on, you got your walkways, you've got your asphalt parking and drives.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me all that's gonna remain? You got some concrete that can be up to a foot high in some of those areas over there near the cafeteria.
Yeah. I'll get the final answer on
Sounds
that.
like a demo to me.
Yep.
That might be right, came out a lot less than we
Yep.
thought, because they're not,
But-
I'll get an answer for the board on that, make sure I get that out to y'all.
Any plans on what y'all gonna do with that property?
That's our-
make it attractive,
Yeah,
try to
we're trying to
sell
get
it.
to the
Yep.
point to sell and market.
Yep.
Or do something.
Isn't that gonna defeat the purpose if we got big old concrete slab?
Yeah,
up?
that's additional cost.
I'll find out. My interpretation of what they said is that whatever the building site is would be demoed, but if there was some stuff around the site for some reason, they mentioned sidewalks for some reason, I'm not sure. But I'll find out about the parking lot, make sure.
Usually it's dirt is what is remaining.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's sloped, I mean, like down towards the old football field. I mean, I'm just wondering if it's, if somebody
I
coming
wouldn't
in to
expect
look
grading, I would just expect down to remaining whatever
No
there is dirt,
concrete.
yeah.
Yep.
And asphalt, all were gone.
Okay. All right. I'll double check that, Jamie. And then the turf fields project, again, we've got EdCon in the process with that. And they have met with their turf person and the ADs and coaches. And they're talking about design specs and surveys, so this will be a lot different process than the last time around, where they will come up with a generic spec and generic design that will be able to get a lot more people bidding on it. So we've definitely had some great conversations about, having more people bid on something that is generic so we can get the pricing down. Everybody seems to feel very good about so the prices that were on the sheet, we are hoping to have much lower prices for, okay? Based on having multiple people be able to bid and again, bid on a generic spec, which is key. But the coaches and the ADs have been involved in that conversation and met with the EdCon folks already. The next meeting will be with the manufacturers to be able to talk about, again, pads, the width of the pads, the height of the pads, the different materials. But at the end of this, we hope to have a design spec that everybody says, yes, this is what we would be comfortable having our student athletes play on. And then we'll get the GMP for that, and then we'll make a decision on what that looks like after those pricings come in. But we certainly expect to have savings based on what the last one was.
So is the goal still to have all of them completed by next football season?
It is. We've got a tight window on that. When you look at, for example, Hartsville, I'll throw Hartsville out. Hartsville Stadium is away from the campus, and it's, pretty much open after, the school year ends, soccer season's over with. And so that's pretty easy to get to really quickly. Move that to Darlington. We've got graduation at Darlington that we're having to work around because they're doing that in the stadium. So that's a date that we've got to look at. And then last but not least is Lamar. And remember, Lamar's got a baseball field and a football field that sits on it. And that, I think that's the one that could be challenging from a time standpoint.
And graduation.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's January. Ideally, we've got 3 months to be able to, that, we certainly can do the specs and the bid in that time frame. The key is when we can get access to the field to when the first game will be, right? And so again, that's going to come back to schedules of the football teams as well. So the plan is, yes, that they will be done, but I can tell you right now that, again, I'm throwing out Lamar High School because of the combination of the baseball and football field, that there could be more involved with that. And so we'll just have to see time-wise how we get to that. And then the next item, Lamar, speaking of Lamar, the Lamar softball bathrooms, we got a GMP from the contractor, which was significantly higher than what I was expecting. And again, after talking to the architects about this and the contractor, the scope of this has kind of gotten out. So it went from bathrooms, specifically bathrooms for softball, to bathrooms and a press box and concessions. And so that's not where we started with. And I get maybe getting pricing on it just to see what it would look like, but we don't have that kind of money to put in the softball field. So, we're going back and talking with the architect about bathrooms and talking with the GC as well about that. So we do have a plan in place for softball season. So the trailer that they bring in that has portable bathrooms, but they're more upscale. I guess they're an upscale portable bathroom. They'll have that for the softball season. So we're still working on, again, what it looks like just to have the bathrooms there. And then the last item is the district office HVAC project. Again, we already got the GMP on that. It was less than what we had expected. Local contractors are participating in that as far as electrical, mechanical, roofing. It's pretty much all local that subcontractors that bid on that. The unfortunate thing is it's going to require a temporary relocation of the district office because the two possibilities were to either do the district office in stages and have construction going on throughout the better part of a year, or to do it all at one time, but that would mean that the district office would need to relocate temporarily. Well, there's two issues with the first one that I mentioned as far as doing it in separate pieces and finishing over time. The price was going to be significantly higher because of the way the subcontractors would have to come in and out of the building. So, talking to the architects and GC, primarily the GC about that they had talked with some of the subs about it. So it was going to be significantly more expensive. And we have a deadline because this is being paid out of with ESSER monies. So we have to have this completely wrapped up by the 1st of August of this year. So, the way to do that is to, unfortunately, be put in an uncomfortable spot for a couple months. So we've been looking at space outside the district and inside the district, but I think we've got solutions inside the district, and that really would be better because of the network situation and phones and everything else. So we've got, for example, the annex has some extra space. We've got Spalding Elementary, which is in good shape, and people are in Spalding Elementary. We've got adult ed for Lamar down there as well as First Steps. But that building is in still good shape. And then also we have some space, for example, at West Hartsville that we've talked a little bit about as well. So we feel like we can handle this internally in the district between the three areas. But as soon as we get confirmation of when the equipment will be here, that's the one thing that we've talked with the contractor about, is we don't want to leave till the absolute last minute. And so that comes down to the equipment that they've ordered, and so as soon as that shows up, then we'll plan everything to be able to move out for that. So we're probably going to have containers and pods out in the parking lot to help with some of the storage, because essentially they're coming in and blowing out the ceilings in this whole building. So there's two roofs in this building. There's a roof right above this drop ceiling, and then there's another roof up above where the mechanical is. So they're literally having to tear off the roof of where the mechanical is, get a crane and take the mechanical off, and then replace all of the ductwork and everything else with the existing roof. So it's going to be significant. But, as everybody knows in this district office, in the wintertime, it's freezing in a third of this office, and in the summertime, it's absolutely unbearable hot in half of this district office. So we're hoping the 2 months of being uncomfortable not in our space is going to pay off for being more comfortable in our way.
So we're confident that the material's gonna be here in time to start it and get it done by August?
Yeah. That's what the GC is telling us, the mechanical is telling us that it will be here. The time frame we're looking at is March or April to be able to start, which would put us back in here, of course, before the start of school. So, and that is the update on everything that I've had conversations with our contractors with. Again, the plan is for the next regular meeting to have our GCs and our architects here to talk with the board as well, and to give presentations on where they are, because we'll have pricing on
So
some things.
on this capital spreadsheet that you sent us, like for the Brunson Dargan demolition, is that the anticipated price, or that is the new lower than we expected price?
Let me find our,
2.1.
no, it's actually less than that.
That's the one.
Brunson Dargan
That's
demo.
the-
Brunson Dargan demo, yeah.
No, that's.
So it actually came in a little bit less than that.
Okay,
It's about 80,000 less than
Yep.
that.
okay.
And like I said, I will definitely get answers on what is included with that.
So we had budgeted much more than that, obviously, because you said it was 250,000.
We started at
yes.
600, yeah. We started at 600 originally, based on what we experienced with Lamar Elementary.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think the company, the sub that got the bid, really was wanting to keep it local, and so it was kind of good to have that opportunity, so.
Anybody got any other questions about any of the capital projects that were listed? Thank you, Dr. Newman.
Okay.
All right, we'll move on to action items. We have our 2025-2026 district calendar, which, as you remember, we try to have a 2-year calendar for our parents. So, Dr. Newman?
Yep, of course, that draft was put out on board docs, but I do have another copy if you all would like a copy of that. But it pretty much mirrors the 24-25 calendar. In fact, it's almost identical to that particular calendar. And of course, it has us starting with students on the 31st of July, has us starting with employees or teachers and school staff on the 24th of July. It does have, of course, the October fall break and the February winter break. Of course, there's the 2 weeks for the Christmas holiday break. Yes, we have the election day that's off, that's also on that calendar, and we finish up before the end of May. So again, very within 1 day's difference of when it starts and finishes from the 24-25 calendar. We did send this to the whole district and ask for feedback. We have about 1,600 employees that it was sent to. We had about 20 responses. And the majority of them were very favorable. We like the new calendars. We like the way it's giving people time. We hear good things from our parents. So really have not heard anything negative.
You may or you may not know, but how does that calendar mirror our surrounding districts? And I ask this question all the time because we got employees who have children who do not live in this district, and their children attend other schools.
And so all we can do is be proactive about putting a calendar together that we think is right for our parents who have kids in our schools. And it would be nice if some of our surrounding districts did the same in the same time frame we did, but we don't have any control over that. And so I'll give you an example. There's a larger district in the county next to us that has not even put out their calendar for next year yet. So, I can't be in control of that. And all I can do is make sure we do everything we can for our parents and our students.
So let me ask you this, how do you, well, number one, I guess, are we still have the collaboration or the involvement with with special needs, special ed and those things? I think we were doing something with PD.
Education Center?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So how would that affect, how does that affect?
So I will tell you this, that our calendar for the people that have been proactive working on their calendars is very similar to a lot of districts around us.
And
but again, I don't-
get it, because I have asked this question for the last 20 years.
Mm.
Because I'm concerned about our parents, but I'm also concerned about our employees.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So like I said,
I think we ended up lining up this school year
We did.
pretty closely with our
We did.
closest district.
And I believe that will happen again with next school year, and certainly if it happens with next school year, it would happen with the following school year because the calendars are so close to each other.
But I agree though, we got to try to, it would be nice for our folks that live in that area and or maybe their kids go to school there or whatever, but I think we're doing everything we can do by getting it out there so early, to hope that instead of waiting to see what other people do, we're trying to be proactive and set the tone. So I think they're, would like to admit it, but I think they're following suit behind us for what we do.
Yep.
All right, we have an action item there. Can I get a motion to approve this 2025-2026 calendar?
I'm going to read the second calendar.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we'll move on. The State Department Underperforming Schools Plan. I think if y'all remember, we had a presentation last month about this, and this is the actual plan that has been put out. So Dr. Newman, you want to follow?
Sure. Chair Hassler, members of the board, and members of our audience, just as Mrs. Hassler was saying, we had a presentation at the last board meeting just for everybody to get an understanding that this is new. This is something new that the state has put in place starting this school year. And underperforming schools, of course, are designated as those that are either below average or unsatisfactory. So, thankfully we don't have any more unsatisfactory schools, but 2 of our schools are below average based on the report cards from last year, and that is Rosenwall Elementary and Thornwell School for the Arts. And so what is new, and every district is having to deal with this because pretty much every district has a below average school in the state. But there has to be plans that are submitted to the State Department about what those schools are doing differently to help come off of the underperforming list, right, and not be below average. And so one of the things that has, money is tied to this. So if y'all remember with priority schools, for example, Thornville School for the Arts has been a priority school that we've had for a while. And we would get X amount of dollars every year to help bring the achievement and the growth piece up, the academic achievement in that school up. Now, there's a whole lot more schools that they're going to give money for. So now it's the below average schools and the unsatisfactory schools. So they basically have taken the pie and cut it up a lot differently than what it used to be cut up. So in the past, we would have not had anything to do with this and we wouldn't have received any money. Now they're going to give smaller pieces of money to the underperforming schools, which means the priority schools will get less money. So they basically are taking the same pot and cutting it up to a lot more schools across the state. I'll just kind of leave that there. But each one of the schools has to submit this turnaround plan. It's the exact same template for both schools that have to be turned in to the state by the 15th. And the board has to approve the plan. Again, the board members that were here for the meeting heard from the two principals and some of the things that are going to be done. That is put into this template. And again, the needs for both of those schools are different. The needs for Thornwell and the student population is different than what it is in Rosenwall. So there are some differences in some of the strategies. But the plan, the template is the same that has to be turned in for every school across the state with the same information in it. So, presenting that to the board for the board to approve, and we will send that on to the state, and they will also look at the plan once the board approves it, and if they have any suggestions for changes, they will let us know as well.
And just a reminder on that, something just to point back out, what we got from Dr. Newman prior to the meeting was a summary.
Yeah.
This is what is submitted
Thank you.
is a
Yes.
20-page report.
Yep.
So we got the summary.
Yep.
So, all right,
So
so
we're
can I,
approving it based on the summary.
huh?
Yes.
We're approving the plan based on the
Yep.
summary
Correct.
provided? Okay.
So I need a motion to approve the State Department's underperforming school plan for Rosenwall and Thornwell.
Move that we accept the strategies for improvement for Thornwell and Roosevelt that Dr. Newman presented to us in a summary form.
Okay, you gotta get a second?
Second.
Anybody have any further discussion about it? All in favor? Opposed? None, motion carries. Dr. Newman, I'm gonna send it back to you. Anything to add for superintendent's update?
Put all this stuff together. And it's just, we keep going back to him.
It's
Next.
It's the Tim show tonight. So my list started small, but it's gotten a little bit bigger. But one of the things, the Hall of Fame, our inaugural Hall of Fame banquet is on January 18th, 6:30 p.m. at the Mayo Conference Center, where we are honoring the first 5 inductees. I believe the board and our principals have received invitations to that, so please make sure to RSVP if you are going to participate with us. It'll be a very festive night.
I'll make sure I don't miss it.
They didn't get one.
I haven't gotten one.
Okay. We will make sure that you have an invitation
Well,
for the
just so we can
18th.
RSVP. I mean,
Yes.
I got the date, but
Absolutely.
so we can RSVP.
Okay, we will make sure. Like I was saying, we're going to be sending invitations to the board members so you all can RSVP.
Wait,
I
so excited, can't wait.
might as well ask principals, have you seen any? Okay, so principals, okay, great. Excellent, all right.
It was an email?
Yeah.
Was ours an email?
I'd have to go back and look, I'm sorry, I don't remember.
RSVP
It was
invite.
Christmas and
It was over
stuff.
Christmas.
That's
I
right.
can say.
So-
That's right. That's right. And maybe in that stash you've got
Yeah.
back behind you
Might be
somewhere.
somebody else's.
All right, so anyways, we're looking forward to that event. That ought to be a really great evening. Of course, we started the second semester, third quarter. We're in week number 2. Principals, thank you for everything that you did to get us off to a smooth start. As I said in my email, I haven't heard anything other than positive things, which is a reflection on how you all got everybody focused back on school. So, good start. Other than tomorrow, we have a weather day, as you all know. And yes, I waited as long as I could to make that decision, and I realized I was the last one standing. But I just have seen that change a lot in the past, and I just wanted to make sure. I did receive late this afternoon from Emergency Management again their latest forecast. And you know what this comes down to is buses. The State Department of Transportation says if you have wind gusts higher than 40 miles per hour or sustained higher than 30 miles per hour, you can't have buses on the road. And so we are showing to have sustained gusts in, above 40 between 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So we just kind of were left with no choice on that situation. But apparently us, like a lot of other folks in the state of South Carolina, are going to be doing an e-learning day tomorrow. So principals, you all have handled this in the past. You kind of know the drill now. Your teachers know the drill. I know you've prepped them in advance for what they'll be doing, and I'm sure we will be successful tomorrow. So, and we'll look forward to being back on Wednesday. Our budget conversations are starting. Obviously, we have a work session coming up later in January, where that will be one of the primary topics that we have is budget. And obviously, we are having to address some challenges. Our ESSER funds will be expiring, and so we have to address what those ESSER funds have been financing for us over the past few years. And principals, again, you all have been in the loop on this. We've been having lots of conversations. Mr. Miller's been coming around talking with you as well about that. But those will kick into high gear starting this month. And again, we're hoping to hear some projections at some point in time from the state as well. MAP testing wrapped up. This past Friday was the last day for makeups. And so I know a lot of conversations have been taking place at the school level with the winter map, but more importantly, for our district, one of the districts that's using Raleigh, where there is now Raleigh is taking the RIT score from MAP and giving us an SC ready projection that has already been calculated for us. So I know I'm looking forward to the schools getting access to that and being able to see what does that MAP score really mean versus just the RIT score that we're looking at. So I know that we're having conversations at the school level about that as far as the value added growth formula as well. And what that's looking like as far as the projections for the end of the year. I'll be talking to the board about MAP scores as well at the next work session. Have a hiring event that we are having in early February. It seems like everybody is getting earlier and earlier. I noticed where a couple districts are advertising they're doing a hiring event this weekend. So, we thought we were starting sooner. But there's even others starting sooner than that.
What's that date?
February the 10th. I'm looking at our HR person who
Is that
is,
the one in Mayo?
yes, that's at the Mayo Center, Chuck Miller. 10th February, right? Yep, great. Looking for that confirmation, thank you. And that'll be, we can hire, that's not just teachers, it's for all classified positions, bus drivers. We'll have representatives from everybody there. And so we're looking forward to a good turnout with that. We will also probably try to come up with some type of sign-on bonus for that particular event only. So people who visit us for that and actually wind up signing a contract with us, we'll look at something for that. And then intent forms, right on the heels, talking about the hiring event, our intent forms are out. which is for all certified employees on whether they plan on returning to the school district next year. Again, these aren't binding contracts, but they are, folks that are planning on retiring, we tend to find that out with intent forms, or folks that are moving out of state, for example, we usually find that out with the intent forms. And we have a fairly high percentage of those have been returned already.
Over 2/3.
Yeah, so
99% return rates.
Yep. And they're not due back until the end of the month, I believe, right?
February 1st.
Yep. So, we've had good response to the intent forms. The communications audit that the board has heard about over the past few months, we talked about it at our retreat originally, but that starts the end of February. So they will be putting together surveys and user groups that you'll be hearing about. Board members, your SCI forms are due on February 15th. Remember, these are the statements of economic interest. So Tina wanted me to remind you of all of that.
What date?
February 15th.
She sent an email.
And there is a couple of, there's a student that I wanted to recognize that we just learned about as well. It's a Hartsville High School student, Brandon Harrison, who Congressman Fry has nominated. He nominated 8 students across the PD. But Brandon Harrison was the only one that was nominated to all of the military academies. So Brandon Harrison was nominated by Congressman Fry for the U.S. Military Academy, the U.S. Naval Academy, the U.S. Air Force Academy, and the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy. So that is a pretty stellar recognition. Brandon Harrison, and he is a senior at Hartsville High School. So, and then a new email just came in today about our joint dinner that we have with our governmental entities across the county, and that is January 29th. The city of Darlington is hosting that at the old post office, and I believe you all received an email about that today as well. And that is everything on the superintendent's update.
Anybody have any questions? All right, Ms. Cora, will you lead us off with our board member input?
Okay. First of all, I want to say thank you to all the schools that were so gracious to us and gave us all of these beautiful gifts. Thank you all so much. And I know each and every one of us, we appreciate this thoughtful gift from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you all for thinking of us. And we really appreciate this a lot. I want to honor our Madam Chair for her 10 years of service to education. Thank you, Madam Chair. And I was thinking about some things that I wanted to say to you all tonight. I wrote them down, but I left my book at the house. But it was to give you a short version of what I was trying to say to you all, was that I think I'm a person that a motivator type person, because I feel that when you honor people and you appreciate them, you get the best out of them. And so I think last year I think that we've gotten the best out of most of you all here. And you've made us look good and you made us feel good about the work that you all have done. And so I think it's always good to honor others. And those are the department heads. I know you go through a lot sometimes. I know you struggle. You go through, because you're people. You're not robots, you're people. You're human. And you go through things sometimes, ups and downs, disagreements, but I feel at this time, all you all were made for this position. Y'all were made for where you all are at now, because it was already predestined that you would be here in the Darlington County School District at this time. Even you, Dr. Newman, Madam Chair, I am. We were designated. We were already designated for these jobs. So I thank you all for what y'all do. I thank you all that we're gonna go through 2024 and we're gonna build new schools, we're gonna get everything done that we need to get done. And this is I'm still in my first year. So I get a pen one day. And, but I just like you, I like working with you all. I like you all being kind to me. And I try to be kind to you all as well. And we all have one purpose and one focus, and that is the children of Darlington County School District. We all tied, we're all connected together. So we need to keep focused and stay focused on what our purpose is here. I always say there are two sides of the Darlington County School District. We have a business side, because we have to take care of the business so the school can function. But we also have another side. We have a side where we are people, and we work together, and we do what's best for the children. Because I'll go home and I'll look through all these numbers, and I'll look at the money being spent, where the money is going, and everything here is going to make this school district better. I rode out there and looked at the property for the new school, and I think that it was in a kind of central location for the schools. But I want to say this, I don't know if it's out of order, Dr. Noon, but we know that we're going to have this new school built, and we're going to move in it by 2025. But I was thinking about, before we make a decision on what we're going to do with those two schools, St. John's and Rosenwald, let's think about the community and what those schools have meant to the community. Because Rosenwald will not have no school at all, and I feel like that the children don't be in school all day, so that building, that school could be used to help the community. So I hope that we as a board at least consider, before tearing it down, what it would mean to that community. So that, because we want to have a good relationship with our community. And that's very important, that we build and have a good relationship. And that the Darlington County School District is not only great for children, it's also great to help the community. So we got some time before the school is ready. So I just hope that, we won't let it, we'll think about some things for our community. So we can all remain vital. So the children can remain vital. That when they get out of school, they got some place to go play basketball, they got some place to go for events in that city. I just think that we just should consider the community, because we got time to think about that when that time comes. So I'm glad to see all of you all in 2024. I'm glad to see that all is well with you all. And I thank you all for giving me an opportunity that I can talk with you all. Because when I come see you, I have to talk to you all and know your feelings and know your heart and what you're thinking and what you want to do to help this school and make it great. And so I appreciate you. We all appreciate you from this board. We all appreciate you. Y'all make our job a little easier. So thank you all. Happy New Year and happy holidays to all of y'all. And thank you all for these beautiful gifts.
Thank you, Ms. Gore. I think this is my 5th January, I guess. And I forget it's Board Appreciation Night, and I'm walking and I'm overwhelmed every year. So thank y'all. We certainly don't expect anything. We don't need anything. We do what we do to serve you. But I hope that possibly this is a representation of you feel supported by us and that we are making decisions that are in the best interest of the students, the teachers, the staff, the parents, the community. but thank you. It's not necessary, but it is certainly appreciated.
Mr. Marcus?
I like it when they go first, because I don't have to say anything, they're taking care of it. Really well. No, I too, I have nothing else other than that. Yeah, it gets me every year. I've been in it for 20+ years, and every time I come in, I'm like, God, that's gotta be the whole board, what's going on? So I appreciate it. It is not necessary, believe me. And I don't think it's an indication that we're good.
I would like to think that it is.
Please
I think they
work
like
with
us,
us.
yeah.
Anyway, nothing. I just appreciate it.
Mr. Goodman?
Other than thank you all for the gifts, hope you enjoyed your holidays out, and look forward to winding up the school year just as we started. That's it.
All right, and I too can echo everything everyone said. I mean, it was overwhelming to walk in the room and see this, and so thank y'all very much. Please express that back to your staff, and we appreciate you very much, and not expected, but certainly appreciated. Mr. Miller, I do have to ask for Mr. Jeffords.
Oh, on his behalf.
On his behalf again.
16 today.
Wow.
And that's where we'll finish the year. So busy season certainly started. He mentioned the hiring event in February 10th, so our work's really cut out for us between now and then with looking at allocations, projections, what we need for next year, so that when we go into that hiring event, we know exactly what we want to hire for, and more importantly, through everything we go through this fall, what we don't need to hire for, so we have to make sure we have those numbers in place by February 10th, so the principals and supervisors, they'll have in hand exactly what they'll be looking for the upcoming year, so really looking forward to it. But we'll finish the year with 16.
Is that one of our, that's got to be one of the lowest numbers I've
It has been.
See, it just took me asking instead of Mr. Jeffords to get those
I didn't know
numbers
who you were asking. I didn't recognize our HR person. I mean, I didn't know if I was, all this, I didn't know who it was.
Yeah, clean up a little bit.
No
Yeah.
doubt.
I'm gonna tell Warren, I need to start asking that question. The number gets lower.
Yeah, it gets better with you.
When I ask that question. So, yeah. All right, appreciate all of that. Personnel actions, we'll move on. So I need a motion to approve the personnel actions.
So move.
Mr. Goins.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
All right.
All right, motion carries. All right, we have here for an executive session, but I do not think there's any, we have no need for an executive session, so if I can get a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Wow.
Second,
Wow.
all in favor? We are adjourned. Look at that.